Okay, first graders. So right now you can see my screen and I'm going to begin to explain the engineering challenge for this week. And before we do that, I want to remind you of the engineering design process. And in the science lab, I have this huge poster back by the sink in the back wall that talks about the engineering design process. And obviously, I don't have that here because I'm at my house, but I can show it to you on the computer. So whenever engineers are trying to solve a problem, we start where this red gear is, and we ask, what is the problem? We define the problem. What are we trying to fix? What are we trying to accomplish? Then we move on to imagining, which could be the same as brainstorming, creating different ideas. And then we start to plan. We pick the ideas we want to use, and then we start to plan our solution and how would we actually make it happen. Now then you move on to creating. You're either making the item, you're building the tower, you're drawing a picture of what it would look like. You're starting to actually put it in motion and commit yourself to that idea. After, if you've made something, this is where in the past, this is when we test it. So if you remember when we were building our houses out of gummy candies and toothpicks earlier this year when we were still at school, when we were testing them was when the big bad wolf was blowing on your house. Now today we don't really have, and for this challenge, we won't really have the opportunity to test because we're going to be modeling and making our ideas either on paper or in a small form. We're not going to be able to test them with real humans testing out our ideas. So this is kind of where we stop for today and for this challenge. However, we know that we might still need to improve and make changes as we go and try new things. And then we're going to share our results. So the only part that's kind of missing in this challenge is testing, because we're not going to strap on a pair of fabric wings on our back and try to jump off something to see if we can really fly like a butterfly. Because would you really be able to fly like a butterfly with some extra fabric on your back? No. What we would have to do is take your ideas from this project and then work with real engineers to add a motor or some type of rocket or some type of computer to your wings so that they would really work. So here is our question. Here's our ask. What can you design to make a human's life better? Think of a body part or structure that other animals have that could be used to help humans. You can add more than one idea to your human. So your job right now, and what your job is going to be for this challenge, is to think about all the animals we've learned about or animals you already know about, and think about the body parts that are super cool that make you think, oh, whoa, it would be so cool if I had a nose like an elephant. Or, oh, wouldn't it be special if I could fly like a butterfly? Or wouldn't it be really neat if I had feet like a gecko and I could climb on walls? That's the type of creativity we're looking for this week. And this challenge, you might notice, it blends together science, engineering, and creativity and art, okay? Now, here are your constraints. Here are your rules that you have to follow. Your design must be able to attach to the human and come off when it's not needed. So for example, if I was in real life, if I had a pair of butterfly wings, I'm not going to walk around as a human with butterfly wings on all the time. I'm going to maybe have them in a backpack and have them folded in a backpack. And then I'm going to be able to put the backpack on and buckle my backpack and open my butterfly wings to fly. Or maybe if I want to put something on my feet, like I want big feet like a duck, webbed feet so I can swim really fast, I'm not going to be able to have those on my feet all the time. So I need to think about, if I want something on my feet, am I going to build them into shoes or some type of special socks where I can put it on my foot and then take it off when I don't need it? So that's a really big part of this project. How is it going to go attach to the human's body, and then how will it come off? If I want to develop rabbit ears for humans so they can hear really far away, how are those going to attach to the human's head? On a hat or a headband, something like that. So I want you thinking about that as well. And you must be able to explain how this creation would help humans. So you cannot say, my humans are going to have blah, 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 blah. And when I say, oh, why? How would it help your human? You cannot say, I don't know. You have to be able to explain, oh, humans need because it can help them, blah, 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 blah. You have to have a reason. And your creation must be inspired by nature. I would like if it was inspired by animals, but if you can think of something interesting from plants that could inspire your ideas, that's great too. So when you are brainstorming your ideas, you can find this sheet that's showing here in the picture. You can find it on the lessons for the week. You're going to print out this sheet. Or if you don't want to print it out, you can just take a blank sheet of paper and start to brainstorm and plan. What could you add to a human to make their lives better? So take a few minutes to talk about the animals we've learned about the last few weeks, or any animals that you already know about in your brain. And you want to ask yourself these questions. Number one, what animals have structures that are super cool? What animals have structures that would be helpful to humans? And you might want to take your piece of paper and write down like, oh, I think a stingray's tail is so cool. And oh man, the giraffes with their super long legs. That's interesting. So just make a big list of all those body parts that other animals have that you think are really neat. Then you're going to ask yourself question number two. How could I make it? What materials could I use? And you don't have to actually be able to make it at home. It could be make believe in your head of how could you make it if you were an engineer. You could say, oh, I'm going to make that scorpion tail. I would make it out of plastic and have a pokey part at the end. If I was making a small version, maybe I'd use a pipe cleaner or a straw. You can think about how would it attach to the body? That's question number three. Oh, my scorpion's tail. How could I get it to attach to the human's body so they can take it on and off? Maybe a belt? Or here's another example. How could I make, polar bears? They have that really thick, warm fur. What could I make? Oh, like a fuzzy coat, a fuzzy jacket. Okay, what materials could you use and how would you attach it to the body? Would it be a big jacket that then could zip up and stay on when you want to stay really warm? Some kids like to think about noses or things for the mouth of their human. Maybe they want some special animal teeth, or they want a nose like an animal or eyes like an animal. So you can start to think about, maybe it's some type of glasses or goggles or something that they can strap on like a mask over your face that then has the body part attached to it. If you are having a hard time coming up with at least one idea, I have a feeling most of you will come up with many ideas. You can watch the What If book read alouds, the videos that I put on the website. I did not read those books, but other teachers did, and you can watch them to get some really cool animal ideas. So now it's time to draw your ideas. You've brainstormed, you've made a big list. So you can find the sheet online and print it off that looks like this, where it's a human, and you can add and draw what you would put and label it. Oh, I'd want the claws of a bear, or I'd want the wings of a butterfly, and that's what they would look like. You can also take a blank piece of paper and draw it by yourself. And after you finish this part, you can stop for today, and the next part is for the third day, the last day of the week. So If you are ready for session number 3, this is your time to draw or build your creation. Now, a lot of kids are going to draw it, like I just said, but a lot of other kids might have some materials at home that they could use to make their creations. So here are some examples that first graders made last year in the science lab with me. And I had these little toys that they could build on. So you might not have something exactly like this at home, but you could take a figurine of any man or woman, a little toy, a Barbie doll, even a teddy bear, and you could use it as your model. Some people might even take pipe cleaners. You could make a little human and attach things to it. You can be really creative with this. So you can either draw it or you can draw it and build it. And as you can see, these kids used some fabric, they used some foil from the kitchen, we used some pipe cleaners or straws or felt and fabric and tape. So maybe you have some of these materials around the house, or you can just use paper and create it from that too. After you're done with your creation, now is the time to write and record so you would be able to share with me and to share with your classmates. So here on the website, you can find a bunch of these sentence frames for what you can write. So scientists, I made a for humans so they can If you made more than one creation to add to your humans, to help your humans, then you need to write about each one you made. And I'll show you some examples in a second. You might have to write about the wings and the this and the this. If you add 4 or 5 things, you're going to be writing a lot more, okay? Humans need like to And then you can also say, I created the wings out of blah, blah, blah. And I know I keep saying wings as my example, but you don't have to have wings to fly. And you can explain how they attach to the human body. Now here is my example that I wrote. And I did this on the computer. You can write it with your hands and a pencil, or you can type it and send it to me. I made butterfly wings for humans so they can fly. They are made out of fabric and attached to the human body with a backpack. I also think humans need a tail like a monkey to swing in the trees. I made a monkey tail out of pipe cleaners, and a human would wear it like a belt. So that's my example. Here are some examples from students last year, and I'll read them to you. This kid said, I made butterfly wings from humans so they can fly. I also made bear fur and cheetah claws so they can snatch their prey and they can stay warm. I made them out of fabric, fake fur, and more fabric. And this kid on the right said, I made eagle wings for humans so they can fly. I also created them out of fabric. If I had more time, I would add a turtle shell and with the eagle wings so that they can stay safe. So these are some ideas of what your work can look like in the end. And at the very end of this project on Friday or even on the weekend, if you finish, whenever you finish this, it's okay if it takes you a while. You can have your adults take a picture of what you created, take a picture of your writing, and send it to my email. I cannot wait to see them. So I hope you enjoy your biomimicry engineering challenge, and I can't wait to see what you create. Bye, boys and girls.